The succession battle for the AmaZulu throne enters day 2 in the Pietermaritzburg High Court today. The first wife of late AmaZulu King Goodwill Zwelithini is seeking to have his other 5 marriages invalid. Queen Sibongile Dlamini-Zulu initially argued that she was entitled to half of King Zwelithini's estate because they married in community of property. For more on this, I am joined by senior political reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo. Ziyanda, very good morning to you. Of course, it's been a really contentious battle, this. And was it really expected to reach such a boiling point?
Well, Paul, perhaps we always knew that this legal battle would still continue within the courts. I think at some stage there was hope that there would be a way to find a resolution through the traditional structures, and actually maybe perhaps then the applicants of this matter would drop their case after everything has been said and done, especially now that would-be King Zwelithini has also on several occasions tried to hold meetings to bring about unity and peace within the family. But yesterday in Paul, we saw then another span in the works being thrown there by Queen Mother Sibongile Dlamini-Zulu, who is the applicant in this matter, who's essentially saying, well, actually she's now trying to have a new amendment to her initial application, that the court officially declare the late king's marriages with his other 5 wives invalid. And I've actually got someone who's going to help me tackle this further, and that's Mpumelelo Zigalala. You know, the issues here are quite deep, in the sense that if the judge today allows for the Queen Mother to be able to add this new amendment to her original application, which essentially only wanted 50% of the estate, but now she wants an official declaration of the invalidation of the other marriages, this has an impact as well on the children and their legitimacy as princes and princesses.
Definitely, and that warrants that they be given an opportunity to respond officially. That warrants that the other wives must also be given an opportunity to respond, and that is by way of an affidavit. This basically means we'll be starting the process from scratch. The amount of, let's say, negotiations, exchanging of affidavits that has taken place, and also the exchanging of heads of arguments will have to start from scratch. And the reallocation of this particular matter to another date will have to be engaged in. Definitely not a matter that can be completed within the next 6 months. You must even see the finality of this matter being maybe by the end of the year. However, the court may then come back and emphasize the point that you are the dominant leaders as the applicant. You are the ones that set this whole action to start. You should have known and should have made sure that all those particular points would have been included in your papers. You can't come at the last minute and change the target and the order in which you want, because the responses that you have received are not based on that new target. They are based on what you have asked for.
What are some of the motivating factors that would need to be put forward in order for the judge to be or have an appetite then to actually consider this new request by the applicant's legal team?
I think the most important one, from the side of an innocent civilian or an innocent litigant who then will come back and say, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not the person who drafted these particular papers. My instructions were clear. It's just that there may have been a misunderstanding between my lawyers and me. This is what I actually seek. It may be one of those factors in which the judge will come back and say, well, you're not really to blame for this particular, let's not call it a mistake, or the omission of those important words, or that particular line or section in your notice of motion. Let me give you that reprieve because I want to protect your rights. But in doing so, you must also understand that I also need to protect the other individuals or the other litigants in this matter, and I may need to open up the matter so that it is well ventilated at a later stage. Meaning, the element of agency would be out the window. The element of trying to solve this matter as quickly as possible will also be out the window. Which is why the emphasis in almost in all quarters or the legal circles that have been there, they are saying, don't let the court decide on this particular matter. Rather mediate and come to some sort of a settlement, because it's going to expedite things much more easier. Yes, you can go to court, it's your right. No one is preventing you from doing that. However, a mediated solution, an amicable solution between all the parties would have been the best solution in this regard.
And a mediated solution, of course, then helps prevent further divisions within the royal family. Well, thanks very much, Mpumelelo Zikalala. You and I are going to be monitoring those proceedings quite closely, as we know that Judge Mjabuliseni Madondo is going to tell us then whether or not he'll be entertaining an addition to a new amendment to the initial application. And tell you what, Mpo, I can already hear that some more police officers are on their way. A short while ago, the siblings of would-be King Mr. Zwelithini made their way, and they're inside the court as we speak, and they're in the holding room waiting for those proceedings, which are expected to get underway at 10 o'clock this morning.
Very well, Ziyanda Ngcobo. Let's leave it there for now. At the same time, there is heightened security outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Zulu maidens and Zulu regiments are expected to gather around the court precinct before the matter gets underway at 10 o'clock this morning.